Welcome to Pharma. Hope you all are fine. In my previous video or in my previous session, I have discussed about cell injury or how it is getting caused. That is causes of cell injury. So for better understanding, we need to understand what is actually happening inside the cell. Okay. So how it is taking place. That is cell injury. So the research team or pathologist, for our better understanding, they have divided the process of cell injury into some steps. So how many steps are there for that cell injury is 3 steps, or they have divided into 3 steps. So first one is about stress or about stress on cell. So what is that stress, which I have discussed in my previous video, and for how long that stress will be there on that cell, means the duration of that stress and how much intense is that stress. I repeat, how much intense is that stress, whether the stress is mild or moderate or severe. Based upon that, cell will respond. Next is, we all know that whenever there is an action on anything, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. That is one of the Newton's law. So cell will also do the same thing. Whenever there will be a stress on the cell, it will try to show some reaction. What is that reaction? First of all, it will start showing some adaptations to that environment. After that, what it will do? It will start recovering from that stage, isn't it? So the second step of process of reversible cell injury is that first one is stress, second step is adaptive mechanism or cellular response. Okay, the third step I am not going to discuss it right now. I will discuss it later on so that you can remember it what is coming in the third step, which I have already told in my previous video, but for right now I am not going to discuss about it. Okay, so let me begin about the steps. See here, once exposure in that nature was there, duration and intensity of stressor was there. Second is cellular response and adaptive mechanism will be there. So what is that talking about is the cellular response and adaptive mechanism. It is divided into again 3 sub-stages. So the first one is, as we know that cell immediate response is primarily functional, means the functions are going to get disturbed here about cell. Okay, so it means cell normal activities are getting disturbed, but structure is not going to get damaged in the initial things. Structure is not going to damage in the initial response, only functions are going to get disturbed. So what are those initial cellular response? That also we will learn, but the second step, what is that, we will see that. The second step in the cellular response and adaptive mechanism is structural changes. Okay, the structural changes are going to get notified. And the last step of cellular response and adaptive mechanism are cellular changes. Some are there, which I will discuss it in my later sessions. So, what is that initial cellular response? First one is decreased ATP production. So if the stress is there, even though the stress is there, the cell is going to perform the function. But as soon as the stress intensity is increasing, it is not showing that proper functionings. So how that functions are going to get disturbed, we will see. The first and the foremost function which is going to get disturbed in cell injury is decreased ATP production. Okay, so I repeat, it is the most important function which is going to get disturbed is decreased ATP production. How it is getting caused? Due to hypoxia or ischemia. Due to hypoxia or ischemia, it impairs oxidative phosphorylation. It impairs oxidative phosphorylation in mitochondria. As we all know that the most important function of mitochondria is production of ATP. So when it is going to disturb the oxidative phosphorylation, it is leading to the decreased production of ATP. The next step is of altered function is altered cell membrane permeability, altered cell membrane permeability, or failure of ion pumps. What are those ion pumps? Sodium and potassium. So these kind of points can come in competitive exams. Please note down that. The first one is decreased ATP production. Second one is altered cell membrane permeability or sodium or potassium pump failure. As ATP production is decreasing, it is leading to dysfunctions of sodium and potassium pumps. How it is actually happening in detail I can explain you in my other videos, but just for now, just for learning it, I can tell that decreased ATP production is leading to impaired or failure of sodium and potassium pump or altered cell membrane permeability as they are present in cell membrane. Due to that, ions imbalance are noticed or electrolyte imbalance will be there. The next or the last one of function or improper functioning that can be noticed is changes in protein structure or changes in protein synthesis. I can say changes in protein synthesis. As there will be a decreased ATP, it can impact the protein synthesis and folding inside the cell. So these are the initial functional dearrangements of the cell or the cell injury. So till now I think it is clear. See, again I am going to brush it up once before finishing up my video. That is, in steps we have seen first stress will be there. Second, adaptive mechanism will be there. In adaptive mechanism, again it is subdivided into three steps. The first one is the functionals will be impaired. Last one is structural will be impaired. Second one is structural will be impaired and the last one will be cellular changes are there. So for today we have seen the what are those functional changes are there. First one is decreased ATP production. Next one is failure of sodium and potassium pump or altered cell membrane permeability, and the last one is changes in protein synthesis. I think I am clear to all. So in my next session I'll be talking about the structural changes of altered adaptive mechanism. So till then you just please brush up your previous topics and let me know if there is any doubt. Thank you.